magical adventure.
It's a magical place.
A magical, magical fairy tale that we are living. Hello!
Hello! And now we're going to be going over how you play.
Welcome to Rants and Reviews.
Okay, fine. Welcome as well.
I know we're embarking ourselves into a magical fairy tale of dragons and dwarves and, elves and fairies and some tales that are going to occur through the game. And so we're just going to jump right straight into how the game works for Fairy Tale, which is a really fun game. One thing you'll
By Z-Man Games.
By Z-Man Games. One thing you'll immediately notice is that they kind of take a mechanic that has been used by a lot of people, but me, it's better known for being used by Seven Wonders.
And for me, it's best known for being used as a Magic the Gathering format.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is...
it's called drafting.
We pick a card from our 5 cards in our hands, and then we pass the cards.
Correct.
Okay. And so we keep doing this until we have the cards that we want. So basically, we can't keep grabbing the same cards every time. We're going to keep passing this until we've basically depleted this. This prevents us from saying, I want every card from my hand, because they're all great, giving another player another chance to grab a great card as well, in case they didn't get the great ones.
Correct. Or you can do what's called defensively drafting a card, which if you know what somebody's going after, you might take one of their cards just to make sure that they don't get it.
That'll be a lot more helpful later in the game in a second round when you've already got cards on the table.
Right, that's correct.
Now in your hand is 5 cards total at the end of after the pick.
Now we're going to pretend that we already passed these back and forth. So you're going to pass until you have passed all of your cards.
You can only pick 3 out of these 5 cards to actually play.
Correct.
The other cards just get discarded. So hypothetically speaking, I'll say I go first.
Well, we actually do this at the same time. We both go.
You put the cards down.
And then you say, I'm going to play, okay, and everybody says they're ready, and you flip over your cards.
So for instance, in this situation, I played my green level, cost a 6-point dragon. And Frank
played my currently 0 point.
No, rotate that.
Well, actually 1 point.
Oh, you're right.
I'm right. 1 point mischievous fairy.
Now, that card is very specific because it gets you points for each additional ones you have.
Correct.
So if you have 1, they're worth 1. If you have 2, they're worth 2. If 3, they're worth 3.
Correct. And also, one neat thing about these cards is they actually do tell you in the corner here, you'll see a number, and that tells you how many of that particular card are in the whole deck.
Okay. So these cards now go on the table.
Correct. Face up.
In front of us.
And they go face up.
And so now we have to pick our second card to play out of 3.
Out of 4.
You play 4?
Well, we have 4 cards now.
Yeah, well, I mean 3 that gets depleted on the table.
Oh, that makes sense.
So we will pick a card, and then we would put it face up. And now some cards have special abilities. His is the same as that card. Now he's got 4 points on the table with that card.
Correct.
This card, unfortunately, while it's worth 5 points, it's very valuable. It forces me to flip over any card. So now I would place this card down, and the dragon I had just played would have to go face down.
Correct.
Now we pick our last card.
And it's important to note that when a card is face down, it is not worth anything.
Yes, but it's still on the table to be flipped later.
Correct. So then we're going to pick our last card for this round.
Now I want to start by saying it's not enough to just flip a card. Flipping a card means putting it face down. It's very specific in the rules. To be able to unflip a card, you have to have the words on the card say, unflip a card.
Correct.
I might have just played my hand what I'm doing here.
Well, that's fine. And we're going to reveal our cards. I have a third one of these guys, Mischievous Fairy. It goes here.
Making his total now a total of 9.
Correct.
This card here is only worth 1 point, but the benefit of it is this little dragon lets me flip over any dragon cards that were already flipped, meaning unflip it.
Yes, you unflip 1 green card.
Exactly.
Yes, dragon.
So I would unflip this dragon card, allowing me to gain back those 6 points.
Right.
So right now, our total scores for our hands would be 12 for me, 1 for the little dragon, 6 for the dragon's lair, and 5 for the magic circle of chaos.
And I have 3 of the Mischievous Fairy, which makes each one worth 3. So I now have a total of 9 points.
Yeah.
But the game doesn't stop there. You do this a total of 4 times.
Each time, though, the cards that you have left over are now gone. They're out of the game.
Yeah, these are the last 2 cards that I didn't have. They get discarded, and they're out of the game. You do not discard them face up. You discard them face down, so nobody knows what's in there.
Now, for instance, the cards that I dropped here were 2 of the Children of the Dragons. These are very similar to his abilities for the fairies.
Correct.
However, I chose to go, instead of going for 4 points with these 2 cards, decided to go for a much higher, more riskier maneuver. There are other cards to be played that can affect other players and make them flip their cards, as well as other things within the game. So you have to keep an eye on what's going on.
Yes.
But for the most part, it's pretty fun, pretty straightforward. And after 4 rounds, you count up your points, and the winner's won the most points.
Yeah, and this game actually does have a built-in expansion in the box. There's the base game and the expert level cards. The expert level cards are mostly, well, there's a lot of the gray ones, and there's a lot of combination cards in there. So meaning you'll have to have a very specific combination in order to get a large number of points.
Sounds good. Okay, well, let's just jump right into what we think, and I'll start this time. You don't have any problems with it, Dave, right?
No, good.
Okay,
Kick it off.
Well, these cards are actually my favorite part of the entire game. These are the story cards. And while we didn't get the chance to go over every one of the cards in the game, I wanted to point these out because this is one of my favorites. If you have these items on the table in front of your group area, you get this massive point bonus. This is a lot different from the other factors of the game where you have one to get another to get a point. These are, in my opinion, the heart of why I like this game. This is a fairy tale. This is the story you're building, and you don't get those points unless you have it. This made me like the game more. And to be honest, I've been sitting on the fence now for a while about adding this game to my collection. But after thinking about it for probably about 7 months, I'm going to say this definitely does belong in my collection. I'll be purchasing it very soon. I recommend that you do as well.
Okay, so Fairy Tale. This is a game that I do love a lot. My favorite parts of the game are the fact that you actually have cards of a green color and cards of a red color that actually work together. In a lot of games, you have to have all the same color cards in order for things to actually do anything, actually have an effect of any type. But in this, I like the fact that if you're going after both the dwarf as well as the Sky Dance Dragon, you actually can combine and actually get points, and one of these cards is worth pretty much nothing without the other one, which is pretty cool. I also really like the collector cards, as I call them, which in this case is the Mischievous Fairy. I really like these because a lot of times people will just pass you these kinds of cards without really thinking about how many they're throwing at you, and next thing you know, you've got, each one is worth 7 points, or 5 points, something like that, depending on how many you have. I love this game a lot. It is in my collection. It definitely belongs in my collection. I've probably played it 25 to 30 times in just the past probably 3-4 months. It's one of our favorite games at game night to just break out when we're waiting on somebody else to show up. And the thing about it is, the game has gotten better and better over time because as a group we've learned how to play it better and better. So the what they call in the Magic community as the meta game in my game group has gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. So the game has actually become harder to win, and point structures are getting, or point differences between first and second, first and last are getting smaller. So yeah, it's very, very rare to actually see a blowout in this game now. So Fairy Tale belongs in my collection. I love the game, and I really think it belongs in your collection as well.
So thank you for watching our review of Fairy Tale. Proof positive that dreams do come true.
Your dream was to have us do a review of Fairy Tale?
No, I wanted to have a dragon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, well, thanks for watching the review. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you pick up the game up, and hope you enjoy that as well. This is one of those games where a lot of times when you break out a game like Love Letter or Fairy Tale and you say to your group of guy gamers, you're like, hey guys, you want to play Love Letter? They're like, no.
That's exactly how I felt when he said, hey, you want to play Fairy Tale? I'm all like, last time we came to Street Fighter, we played Love Letter with you.
Yeah.
Now it's Fairy Tales.
Right.
What's next? Cupcake Express?
Dude,
I'm making that
that's
game.
Gonna be awesome.
I'm making that game, Cupcake Express. I'm on to it.
Before or after Banana Police?
That's right, I'm making Banana Police.
Yeah. Anyway, back to that.
So, thank you again for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope that's basically skewed you one way or the other. I know we do a lot of positive reviews, and we do some negative ones too, but they'll come up eventually. I mean, we don't love everybody. I hate quite a bunch of them.
Creepy. All right, so we'll catch you guys next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.